What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good? What's up, people? It's me. I'm L3027. You know who I am?
Thundercats are on the move. Thundercats are loose, honey.
He's about the business of dipping spoons into sugar bowls. Anyway, real girls do real things. So as to make it easier for insertion, maybe?
No means no, and yes means no.
What up, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? What's good, people? What's up, what's up, what's up? It is me, L3027, and I am back for yet another review. This, ladies and gentlemen, will be our review for SWV Xscape, the Queens of R&B. It is season 1, it is episode 5. It is called Sisters with Choices. Now listen. At this point, I'm going to say this now and I'll go into it a little further. I just think we have two separate groups that need two separate shows, both two separate concert shows as well as two separate TV shows. And that's just, it is what it is at this point. So, let's get going. We started with Tamika. She at home. Tasha called her. Tasha say, listen, we need to talk. And we find out that Tasha did in fact show up to their performance in Orlando. She came to sound check and she came to the performance. So that's a good thing. But I mean, hell, we know since then, I don't think they've had any more performances with Tasha, but who knows? But it don't this ain't happening, honey. Baby, this ain't happening. So we then see Tamika meet up with Tasha at the studio. Tasha at the studio, Tamika meets her there. And Tamika tells her that she talked to their mama and they had a whole sit down and they, discussed where they were and worked it all out. Kissed and hugged each other out. We saw all that on the episode. But I feel like Tamika is still playing defense. And I don't like to use it in that term, but that's the best way I could describe it. The problem is this: Tasha, as well as her mom, they do what a lot of family members do. Everything is about the family, and you're always supposed to acquiesce and coalesce around the whole family unit, all the while neglecting your own feelings. All the while, people mistreat you, people do you wrong, people cuss you out, people do all of these horrible things. And then when y'all sit down to the table, it's a, oh, well, it's family first, and you always have to think about your family, and your family does some of the most horrible and heinous things to you, and you're supposed to always sit that aside. And I've never been a fan of that. I don't care who you are, who and how close you are to me. In my life, I'm at the point now where you are toxic to me, or you don't mesh with my vibe, and or don't mesh with my energy, or we're just two different people. We don't need to be around each other. That ain't gonna stop us from being family. We're gonna be family regardless. It's bloodline. We don't have a choice. We will always be family, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. However, what I'm not going to do is sit here and continue to allow you to mistreat me, all because you talking about it's family and think about the family. Think about the family. That the family ain't think about me. And I've been there before. And listen, I gave that up in my 20s where I stopped thinking about, oh, how did the family feel about it and everything. Baby, how do I feel about it? I am my family. And that's just the long and short of it. I don't have that type of energy, honey. Anyway, Tamika and Tasha, they go see I'm sorry, not Tamika and Tasha, all of the girls except for Candy went to go look at the audition, go see the dance auditions. I like this part. Really, I really enjoyed the part of them watching the audition. I really did. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed them critiquing the I wanted to see more of that than I did of some of these other scenes. Like if they would have gave us more of that scene, I would have enjoyed it more than some of the other scenes. But I really did enjoy this scene of them showing them auditioning the dancers. That was a good scene for me. I liked a lot of the dancers. I really, really did. I thought they had some great dancers there. I feel bad for the people who had to be turned away because, like they said, so many of them were so good. But unfortunately, you got to pick, just the best ones, the best of the best. And I think some people always talk about the best of the best, not knowing the best of the best means that it's always going to be a hard decision. It's not just the best of everybody, it's the best of the best. So everyone is truly a best of the best. Everybody's coming with their A game. Everybody looks good. Everybody's on point. And so you have to then start to be kind of nitpicky on, oh, I like this, or I like this person's look, or I like this person's aesthetic. And so you do start to have to be nitpicky about certain things when you're looking at the best of the best. We then see SWV go out to eat, and Taj tells Coco and Lily about the conversation that she had with Tamika about whether or not to end the show on understanding or weak. And they got into a whole argument about what song should, end the show. Tamika went in on SWV, said y'all don't have the same number of followers as Tiny and Candy, so y'all need to bow down and back down to them. And Taj was like, "Girl, we don't care about follow, girl. No, it's weak," and I agree with that. Yes, Todd, if I want to go with you and you say Tiny and Tamika are going to bring people there, absolutely. But please be clear. Once the people get there, they want to hear Weak. If you ask the people there, the very same people who y'all say Tiny and Candy got there, if you ask all of those people which one would they rather hear, Weak or Understanding, they're probably going to say Weak. Let's be clear. A lot of people who watch Housewives of Atlanta and who became Candy fans ain't really fans of her singing. They be picking at her singing. Y'all know they be picking at Candy and her singing, and Candy ain't did a good job of making her singing sound too good while she's on these shows. Tiny, the people don't know you for singing at all. Hell, the people ain't know you for being a singer when SWV was hot. Let's just be clear. So they ain't coming to you for singing. Now they may come there because Tiny and Candy is there, but if they know it's a concert, maybe they want to hear Weak, not before they want to hear Understand. I'm not saying they want to hear Understanding, but if you going on which song is the biggest song of all of them, Taj was absolutely right. It's Weak, and then everything else. Get over it. Anyway, um, they had Tiny at home with her daughter. I ain't care. Then you had Lily at the dog groomers with her sister talking about not being there for her kids. I ain't care. Moving on. We then see Coco and Candy. They meet up with the creative director Steven. And I was with with Coco, like, if you do creative director, why are you over here discussing the set list for us? But he was, and once again, they got to the end, and there was a whole disagreement about, hey, what's gonna be the last song? Understanding a week. We just broke that down. I told you which one need to go last. We don't need to go back down that road. And this was one of my problems on this show, and I've seen this episode to episode. There's it's generally one storyline amongst the two groups, or one argument, or one thing to hash out, and they will beat that dead horse over and over and over and over and over the whole episode until I'm just tired of hearing about it. And sometimes it bleeds into the other episode, and so it's just the same thing over and over and over. Because during this episode, we saw three different iterations of the same argument and the same talking points being made each time, and it just got redundant. It was just so redundant. There was nothing new being introduced into the arguments at all. So so at that point, I didn't care. I was like, whatever. So then we got the two groups on their way to have another meeting at the stylist. On their way there, Coco is riding with Taj and her son Jay. And Jay tells Taj that, hey, I'm going back to school in the fall. I'm going to do dentistry. I'm going to finish dental school. So I think we're all glad to hear that. Thank you, Jay. I'm glad you came to your senses and decided to do that. Um, because you can do both. You can do both. You can literally do both. Um, so then the two groups meet up to do the wardrobe. Now I was kind of with, and y'all know I'm not squeamish. I'm not old timey with outfits at all. But I would have felt some kind of way if you're telling me our wardrobe is about to be built by somebody who specializes in building stripper costumes. Now, if you told me we going to somebody who does celebrity stylings, or somebody who does costume design or whatever, okay, let's do that. But bruh, you know, clientele works down here to Magic City. Like he said, I basically do strip outfits. And when you had as much plastic surgery done as members of Escape, I guess you want to go around looking like strippers and whores. Because that's all you did. You went and had a whole bunch of plastic surgery to look like you work at Magic City. So you get a wardrobe designer who works for the girls down in Magic City. And SWV is like, baby, that's not our stilo. That's not our judge. Baby, we ain't trying to do all that. Like, we could put on some clothes and still be sexy. But girl, I guess. Anyway, once again, while they're there, here comes the argument over who gets the last song. Now, baby, y'all about to wake up the sleeping giant. And the sleeping giant is Coco. Baby, Coco is not the one. Of all of the attitudes of all of the girls, None of them compares to Coco. Coco turned into straight Godzilla, and Coco done been good this whole season. Baby, Coco has been tamed. I told y'all, if y'all go back and watch them old SWV reality TV shows, Coco wasn't nothing to be fucked off with. And Coco has been real good this whole season. Baby, y'all about to wake up this sleeping giant, and ain't gonna be nothing you can do but hold down, batten down the hatches, and hold your horses, cause it's coming. Cause I feel it coming, baby. She's overdue for a meltdown. So then so they argue about who gonna get the last song. Coco was like, "Well, fuck it then. Why don't we just do separate sets then? Y'all do a set, we do a set." Tiny, not Tiny. Tamika get mad with like, "Oh, you treating us like we children." She said, "I ain't, no, we all grown. We ain't treat nobody like we child children. But if we can't come to an agreement, y'all do a set, we do a set, and that's gonna be it." But then if y'all do that, you get back to the who's opening for who. Anyway, um, so they never come to an agreement on that, and they just go to the next scene. Because once again, this is the third iteration of the same argument with the same talking points. Nothing new introduced. Then we see Escape has a meeting at the end of the show. Tasha comes in. It did kind of feel like an ambush, if I'm being honest. It did kind of feel like an ambush. I'm just being honest. It looked like an ambush. But Tasha came in now, and here's my thing. I think Tamika, while you may agree, you're being used. You don't went from being used by your sister, Tasha, to being used by Candy and Tiny. Because Candy and Tiny, y'all supposed to be the girls with all the money. Y'all supposed to be the girls that's so business savvy. And for y'all to be the ones all about the money, if y'all had that kind of issue, y'all was supposed to bring up that conversation. Y'all was supposed to come out with the receipts. Y'all was supposed to lay that shit out and lay her out. But now you got Tasha, Tamika, I should say, doing all of the dirty work. She got to introduce the conversation. She got to roll out the receipts. She got to be the one that explained all of the different parts instead of it being Tiny and Candy. Or at least let it be Tiny, since we know Tasha don't see it for Candy anyway. But Tasha and Tiny are really good friends. And so Tiny could have been the one that introduced that, not Tamika, because now Tamika, your sister looking at you sideways too. I'm not saying she should or should not be there, but that is your sister. And so she's gonna look at you like, girl, really? You doing this with them? So I just feel like Tamika, you being used again. But it did kind of feel like an ambush. They roll out these receipts about the fact that Rocky has been taking kickbacks from promoters that they've been trying to that's been trying to get Escape to go to their events. And if Tasha can convince them to come to that event, then what'll happen is Rocky gets a kickback on the back end, and the promoter gets their money. Tasha's husband Rocky gets his money on the back end, and that the group don't know about, and that's that. It's a kickback. So it kind of ends from there with Tasha saying, "Oh, I don't know what this is. I don't understand it. What is this? That don't even sound like. Is that even his number? Girl, you know that's his number. Girl, stop playing. You think your sister knows your husband's number? Let's be clear, girl." There was a lot of deflection because it seemed like you got caught, and it was an ambush. You weren't prepared. It was a total ambush. She wasn't prepared at all, and she was caught like a deer in the headlights. And I'm not saying they were right or wrong for ambushing her, but it was an ambush nonetheless. And so now we end the episode with Tasha calling her husband, I guess, to kind of, I don't know, do what? Clear it up. The receipts are right there. I don't know what you're supposed to do about it. Because the receipt said that Tasha was involved in that. Tasha knew, because he was like, "Oh, I already showed Tasha that you sent me 10 grand and that you're going to send me another 20 when she get them to come on." It was a mess. It was a whole mess. It went off from there. We'll see how it is. The season finale is coming up next week. And that's gonna be it. I want to see Coco have one of her classic big meltdowns next episode. I don't think it's gonna be that big because it looked like they still went on the same. But baby, we done seen Coco do whole meltdowns, but Mama don't even go on stage. Baby, it's nothing you can do. I be like, anyway, we'll see next week. That's all I got for y'all. Listen, I'm really sick of what I said in the beginning was me being tired of the same redundancy or me thinking they should have different shows. Is Escape has all of their own drama, everything by themselves, where adding the redundancy of this fighting or made up or fighting with SWV that sometimes seems a little contrived is a little too much. Give Escape their own show. If SWV wants their own show, they've had one in the past, they can have their own show and watch Candy have a meltdowns too. And I think it should be separate because together, I don't know. That's just my thoughts. That's all I got for y'all. Until next time, thank y'all for coming. Y'all drive safely. I'm out.